sip of water.
I'm a professional. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast illustrating the inspiring abilities of insects. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kelly.
Before we get started creating this bug-themed character, what's bugging you, Kelly?
I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot 2 weeks.
Yeah, you and Derek have been away from the podcasting because Derek's been at a conference. But I missed you guys. I've missed your laughter, Amanda.
Thank you. I hope people who listen are like, this obnoxious laugh. I gotta get rid of this obnoxious cackle she does. I have been accused many a times of having a loud laugh, but I just say, you really know I enjoy something.
You're very honest in your laughter. It's nice.
Oh, I've definitely been accused of being too honest.
I don't love attention, so I tend to mute, tamp down those feelings. So
it's just a coy little giggle into your fingers.
Yeah, like
a little Regency debutante. Not
exactly.
Me. I would have been rejected on the wedding market in a Regency film. Oh well.
What's bugging you? What's new?
What's bugging me? Spousal theft is bothering me. Let me explain briefly.
Spousal theft.
While our producer / editor Derek was out of town, I was looking in on his beautiful and lovable cats. One of which you may, if you're on the internet, if you are internet savvy, you may know the Facebook group. This cat is Chonky.
I love it.
And Derek's cat Rotunda is a let's say frequent flyer on that channel. Much beloved. But Rotunda is a very loving cat. And the moment my husband sat down on a couch, she was on his lap. She was ready for some pets, some love, and some attention. And Cody was happy to give it. He loves a cat. So
that's really sweet.
It was very, very, very cute. And she's a very, very, very cute cat. Let me say that I think she was 18 pounds when they got her. And now that she's down to probably about 9.
She's still got those 3 little cat chins, though. Listeners, if you can find Rotunda on This Cat is Chunky on Facebook, she's got a chin collection.
She has an Instagram. It's Capital Rotunda. You can go directly to the source.
Oh yeah, she's so cute. I love Rotunda.
Yeah, Rotunda's a good kitty. He has 2 more, but Rotunda's
who cares about them? We just love Rotunda.
Well, there's just something about a chunky cat, I gotta say. And she's now at a more healthy weight, but she has maintained. She's just like a big cat, so she still is a beautiful, big-boned girl. So we love her.
I love a curvy cat.
Purrs at a volume I've never heard before. Like you can hear it across the room.
Yeah, I had the fortune to meet Rotunda and the other 2. Last time I was out in Oregon. But she was very cute. She purred a lot when my husband pet her, so I think she likes guys.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't considered whether or not sexual dimorphism in her lap. She was very tolerant of my 3-year-old being all in her business. She's a good cat. Aww. She only hissed at him the one time, and it was because he was very clearly invading her space. So
did he get it? He backed up.
Yes, we've done a lot of an animal can't tell you with words. An animal's going to tell you with their body.
Yeah,
and that means good. Yeah, that means hissing. That means growling. That means hair standing up, because they can't tell you, please leave me alone. They have to show you, please leave me alone. So he has lots of experience with that with his grandmother's cat, who also isn't a fan of him, just in general. She's like, leave me alone. He's got a couple whacks over the years. Let's just say that.
Can you hear that thumping at all? No, good. My cat is trying to break into the room right now.
Oh,
and he's
perfect.
He's smacking the door, trying to get me to open. It's Darcy. It's Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy would like to enter the room. Darcy. Not allowed.
We could easily get on a whole Pride and Prejudice tangent, because it is one of my favorite things on the planet.
It is not mine. He just came with that name.
Oh, you're killing me, Kelly. Let me
You just call him
explain to you
Darcy
why
for
your
short.
cat's name is great. But another lover of black cats, like Darcy, a lover of black cats, is of course our subject for this week, the Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. So this is going to be our first official episode where we cover our real hero. We talked a little bit about Black Widow, but that was like a mini-sode. So this entire episode will be specifically about Peter Parker as Spider-Man because there are so many spider folk out there.
The spider fam grows by the day, it feels like.
And I'm at least the most familiar with Peter. Although I'm getting more familiar with Miles. He's pretty great.
Yeah, while I was at Derek's house, I played the entire story of it's not quite a full game. I'd say it's 60% of a game of the Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is on PS4. So I'm ready. I'm in a Spider-Man mood. Miles has some really interesting powers, but I would say that I think there's something to be said about derivative heroes that jump off of legacy heroes, as it were, that they often have all the powers of their original plus a little extra, and you're like, well, that's not fair. What are you giving up to have the extra powers? And the answer is nothing.
Yeah, it just becomes a lot. So we'll just talk about good old OG Peter.
Just old Pete. Good old
Petey.
Petey Parker, they say.
So Amanda and Derek and I have done Comic-Con panels where we talk about superheroes and how they match up to their animal or sometimes plant avatars, I guess is the right word for it. So this is kind of this. I guess Amanda will kind of do this like a little bit of a condensed version of that section of our talk, which is fun. I love giving that talk.
Yeah, there's something about the energy of a Comic-Con that can't be replaced.
Oh, I love the questions at the end, and everyone's all dressed up, and we're dressed up. I love a Comic-Con. It's awesome.
I'll do my best to come up with the out of left field questions that the audience always comes up with when we do a panel.
Oh, they're very left field.
Very left field. You're like, what color is Peter Parker's underwear? And I'm like, I don't know. So his core powers, 60 years of history, there's going to be some variance within. But his core powers seem to be he's super strong, he's super fast, which I think can be linked in with super strong. Like if you're strong, you can run fast.
Yeah, he has strong legs.
He's occasionally has organic webs, but mostly he has the webs he made. And of course, the infamous spider sense.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start at the top of the list. His most mundane power. I think his most mundane power is that he's super strong because a lot of the heroes are super strong.
Yeah, so, it just seems to come with
with
being a hero. Everyone can throw everyone across the room, through a building.
It's not as dramatic if only one person could lift a whole building and the other one's like at the gym doing 100 reps because he's got to get strong.
Oh, that was like that One Punch Man.
Yeah, like One Punch, right? We talked about last time.
We talked about that last time.
So spiders, are they particularly strong for their size or?
Oh, yeah. Spiders can some of them can take down prey like 50 times their size. They're
like those strong bird catcher ones, or is there something else?
So I think, are you thinking of so there's the Goliath bird-eating spider, which is a big tarantula.
I think that's what I'm thinking.
Tarantulas almost feel like cheating because they're
just big.
These guys are the size of dinner plates. They're pretty cool. But even small spiders, like jumping spiders, I think everyone's seen a cute little fuzzy jumping spider, or black widows, orb weavers. They'll catch snakes on occasion.
Whoa.
Or birds. Orb weavers sometimes get birds in there, or bats in their webbing, and it's pretty crazy. A little tiny jumping spider can take a whole praying mantis down, which is a heck of a fight.
Wow. Okay, so they are hunted guys that are way, way bigger than them. So the spider versus rhino question isn't out of the realm of reality, at least comic book wise.
Yeah. I don't know that a spider could take down an actual rhino. It would have to be very venomous. That wouldn't be a strength thing. That would be venom.
Yeah.
Maybe what's that terrifying spider in Australia? The redback. I bet that could take a rhino.
Yeah, I think the redback is like their Black Widow.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, that's not a strength thing. That's just venom. Feels like cheating.
Funnel web spider is what I think
It's a type of funnel web. So funnel web is a type of spider. It's a group of spiders.
Oh, okay, interesting. I was just watching my comfort show lately has been Secrets of the Zoo. And there's many kinds. So
Oh,
there's like an Australian Secrets of the Zoo and Tampa Secrets of the Zoo. The best one is the Columbus Zoo because they have the most seasons. But the Australian one, they have a bunch of funnel web spiders and they're talking about how deadly they are. And I'm like, why do people live in Australia? Stop doing that.
What's that on? What station is that? Or channel or?
It is a Disney Plus
Oh,
watch, part of
I
their
love
National
Disney Plus.
Geographic line.
I'll have to check it out.
I've enjoyed it. I
I'm
like it a lot.
insufferable to watch those shows with though because I I like scientists through the whole thing, and my husband's like, please, can we just watch?
I'm just trying to enjoy the giraffe being born, Kelly. Please.
He's like, I don't need commentary from you while we're watching television.
Don't let him ever watch TV with me then.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Mm-hmm.
So, but so strong spiders, right? So there are these spiders who take down really big prey, and part of this is the way that their legs move. So they don't have muscles in the way that we would traditionally think about a muscle structure, like in our arms or legs. Spiders have a hydraulic system, and they push their hemolymph. We talked about hemolymph, I think, in the first episode with our bleeding knees ladybugs.
Yeah, bleeding knees.
And that hemolymph works kind of like hydraulic fluid. And the spider changes the pressure in its body, in its abdomen, and it moves the legs. And when
so that's how they can stay real thin and spindly like that, despite being so strong. Is
because pressure.
Oh, gross.
And it's why they move so fast. So if you think if all you're doing is pushing hemolymph through your body, you can get quick reflexes. Listeners can't see me, I'm like moving my arms around. But
yeah. Is that why they curl up when they die? Is because they're no longer putting pressure out into those legs?
Exactly. That we'll call blood pressure for lack of a hemolymph pressure. And it just kind of curls right into itself.
Spider-Man is big at my house. I think we mentioned in episode 1 that my son has a pet spider.
Oh, yeah. The one he has to keep hidden from his father.
He has to keep hidden from his father. I live in a world of checks and balances, and the check and balance for spider love comes from love from my son and hate from my husband. He has a pet spider that lives on the barbecue outside, and he talks to it. He says hi to it. Aww. It's his friend. I don't know that it's even the same spider week to week. But there's a primo spot on the barbecue where at least one little orb weaver has set up. Of course, the Spider-Man that lives at our house the most is like the kid-friendly versions, because like there's one on Disney now called Spider and His Amazing Friends, and that's Peter and Miles and Gwen all living in the same, and they're all of an ambiguous age. They all seem to be about 9.
Oh, weird. I don't know. Like little kid Spider-Man. That's
like
odd.
Yeah, they're like young, which doesn't really make any sense, but it's fine.
You know what I don't want is a 9-year-old with superpowers.
No, that'd be horrible. We'd come right back to middle schooler asking dumb questions. Imagine if you were 9 and you had superpowers.
Oh,
what would you do with that? It certainly wouldn't be saving the day. You'd be like, give me your lunch money. No, I'm not going to do that.
My parents nuts.
Which,
on the ceiling.
When it comes to spider strength, I've heard this rumor that like, the strongest spider could, if it scaled up to a human, could lift 25,000 pounds or whatever. And so Spider-Man has to always be pulling his punches, because if he used his full strength, because there's that infamous, not the right word. There's that big comic book moment where he's got the building dropped on him, which they recreated in the first Spider-Man MCU film, where he has to lift it off of himself, right? So theoretically, he's lifting tons and tons of weight there. So if he can lift tons and tons, if he punched you at full strength, he'd go right through your head. Yeah. He'd just explode you. So Spider-Man might be one of the characters that has to hold back the most when it comes to punching.
I would agree. Yeah, and especially if he's fighting people, like regular humans.
Like a regular dude. Because, as far as I know, Dr. Octopus, he's just a regular dude with arms. Like, you can't just punch him full strength, Parker, or you're going to turn him into Dr. Jelly, you know? Nasty.
Yeah. I'm assuming Peter does kind of weigh his punches for certain villains.
It does make the Venom arc really scary because the Venom symbiote wouldn't have any qualms about punching through someone's head.
I like Venom. I know it's a little chaotic, but I kind of enjoy the chaos of Venom.
And I got in a whole discussion about Venom last night with my husband.
Oh, and I love that actor. What the hell's his name?
Oh, the Tom Hardy version
of
Venom?
My God, yes.
Oh, no.
Maybe I'm just biased because I want to stare at Tom Hardy.
That's fair. I think that's a fair way.
I don't care what he's in. Yeah. Tom Hardy in a trash bag. I'll watch it. It's fine.
Sure. There we go. And trash bag is certainly where those films belong.
Yeah, they're not good. They're fun. They're kind of fun, but they're not good.
Yeah, my friend loves them. She thinks but she's very like, Amanda, you just have to like turn your comic love off and just enjoy the film for what it is. And I sometimes struggle to do that.
How dare you, producer Derek, saying Tom Hardy looks like trash in that movie? Get out of here.
To be fair, okay, so there's two kinds. There's cleans up nice and there's roughs up good. And he's definitely roughed up good in that.
He's a roughs up good, yeah. I don't think Venom doesn't have an animal analog, so I can't say a whole lot about Venom. Yeah, look, he looks like a hot trash person. I'll take it.
Yeah, he looks like a hot hobo here.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Don't ever let Kelly out into the streets. She will take home a hot hobo.
Don't tell my husband.
Truly, what he needs is this information so that he knows that he could look like a hot hobo, and that might still work for you.
I've tried to push him into the hot hobo groove, but he's resistant. He's a very clean guy. Now we're learning too much about me. Usually it's Amanda.
Hot hobo loves.
Usually it's all Amanda.
Yeah. The wacky world of Amanda.
So I guess we'll get back to spiders, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll get back to spiders.
So we talked a little bit about Spider-Man's mega strength, and then that does, like I said, match up with real spiders. At least some of them. Like if you see like a cellar spider in your bathroom, that guy's probably not pulling really big prey into that, sad little bathroom web.
Please, just let me eat your flies.
Let me have your drain flies.
So along with super strength, I would say comes his super jumps. Because if you're super strong, you can jump real high. Because what is a jump but being real strong in the leg?
Oh, well, that's an easy one. That's the jumping spider.
Right?
Family Salticidae. They're one of my favorite groups of spiders, other than my true favorite, which is the wolf spider. They're real fuzzy. They can jump great distances for how tiny their little bodies are. They're also kind of fun. Have you ever seen a peacock spider, Amanda?
Oh, I've seen them. When we do this presentation, I've seen their little dance.
Yeah, they have an adorable little dance. They flick their abdomens up. They're very brightly colored. They wave them around. They kind of drum against the ground and then flick their front shorter legs in the air. It's all for the ladies.
Ladies.
Which reminds me of Spider-Man 3?
I think it is Spider-Man 3 when he's doing his dance. Yeah, does the arm twirl and then the hip thrust. Terrible. It's a move, let me tell you.
It was so bad. But we could say that works as far as mimicking a spider, because our friends, the peacock spiders, love to dance.
So Peter should have super dance powers, is what I'm hearing. He should be able to do that. He also dips Gwen Stacy at one point. He's not just the obnoxious outside the door dance. He also does like a full half tango with Gwen to make Mary Jane jealous.
Oh, that movie.
That movie.
That movie. I loved those movies though. I thought they were so much fun and so campy, which is Peter. Peter is campy.
I would say he's at his best when he doesn't take it quite so seriously. I'd say Spider-Man, again, comic history here. He is one of those ones that goes from really light stories to really dark stories, really light stories. And it's that juxtaposition between the two that makes it work, in my opinion. he's at his best when he's quippy and fun and making jokes.
And puns.
And he's comfortable being... We don't need to get to the psychology of what it means for Peter Parker to be Spider-Man. But,
that's not my field of science.
Yeah, that's not science. That's just being a teenager. He feels his most comfortable when he's Spider-Man because no one can see that he's this dorky Peter Parker character. He can make jokes and be funny and be witty and be strong.
If that's all it takes to beat imposter syndrome, someone get me a spider suit.
Someone fetch me a mask.
Get me a superhero suit and a mask, and I can just exist in the world. But yeah, so I would say the jumping spider, and in particular for the dance move, the peacock. And then that would also lead into agility, right?
Yeah.
I would assume he's got super agility, Peter.
Yeah. I mean, there's several moments, at least in the MCU films, where he's like fully dodging bullets and stuff.
Spiders are quick.
Yeah, you have to assume that this is a juxtaposition of all of his powers are reaching together to dodge bullets, because bullets are pretty dang old fast.
Well, there's this, I'm going to call it goofy because it is. It's a goofy spider. It's called the golden wheel spider, and it does this move which is called a flick flack. Basically, it throws.
Is that the scientific term for it?
It is flick flack.
Oh, scientists! What are you doing out there, scientists?
We also, scientists love a dumb term. Let me tell you, it is our favorite thing. But this flick flack move, it hurls itself down like a sand dune because it's found in the desert.
Okay, we're gonna pause. You're getting a siren, Kelly.
Oh, you can hear that? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, always. Jersey City's full of sirens.
It is.
Miss Marvel's out there doing her work. Don't you worry about it.
She needs to do more work so these sirens shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, hear that? That's a fire engine.
Yeah, so something big's going down there.
No, someone probably burnt their toast. And then
it's enough.
Because we're in a big apartment. We're in like high-rise apartment buildings. So if you burn your toast and you let that waft out into the hallway and it sets off the building fire alarm.
Oh, it just calls.
The trucks have to come. Yeah.
Oh, because that's how it was at our elementary school when I taught in the elementary school too. That like if the fire alarm is tripped in any way, they have to come.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you call and say don't come, it was just chemistry class.
They have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because there's like a few thousand of us living in one tower, you have to come just in case. It's very annoying.
So we were talking. The siren sounds like it's gone. So we were talking about the golden wheel spider. So we'll jump back to the agility.
So speaking of agility, there is the golden wheel spider from South Africa, and it's got this move where it throws itself down a sand dune. It's called a flick flack,
a flick flack.
A flick flack.
That's the scientific term.
It's a science term, but I'm pretty sure we stole it from dancers. So sometimes we steal terms. It's just how we do. But it rolls down the sand dune, like tumbling. It's crazy looking. Everyone should Google golden wheel spider because I know it's on YouTube, and just watch it roll down a sand dune.
It's doing like a little ungraceful cartwheel here, just down this sand dune. Like if you've ever been a kid who got to the top of a grassy knoll and then rolled down it, I imagine it's a very similar sensation to what's happened at the spider. We're like,
disorienting. And
you're
at the mercy of gravity.
Where I am. Look at him go, though.
They're very fast. Yeah, they can really hoof it out of there if they need to.
So theoretically, Peter should just be cartwheeling all through New York City.
He should be. I guess we could just say backflipping if we want to make it, superheroes.
He does love to do a flip.
So that always makes me laugh to think about this.
It's what makes Peter great is that he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he can do things like have a hot dog vendor yell "do a flip" at him.
And I'll do a little spider PSA, and all your spiders are friendly neighborhood spiders, and should be loved and treated with respect.
Put them under a cup and on a paper, and get them back outside where they belong.
Don't squish those guys and gals. Just get them outside. They're great. They eat all the pests we don't want around. They don't really want to bite us. Spiders are not super into biting.
I will say
costly
this.
to bite, so they don't want to.
The last few summers, there have been spiders a size which I have never known. They are huge. And Portland is not known for its spiders, but there's this one, I think it's called a house spider or something. And I mean, it must be the size. I'm trying to think realistically and not just what my brain tells me it is. I'd say realistically, Derek just said it. I'd say realistically, it's 3 inches across, legs. I mean, but when it's coming at you, it feels like it's the size of a dog, and you're like, ah!
Yeah, giant house spiders are big. Those are big spiders.
The female leg span is typically around 1.8 inches, according to Derek. But they're big, and they're coming for me, and I don't appreciate it. And I do my best.
They're not coming for you.
They are. They're coming for me. That's my fear. I'm actually, so in my wedding vows, this is another peek into the wild world of Amanda.
I can't wait to hear this.
This is how much my husband doesn't like spiders. In my wedding vows, I mentioned that I would be the one to take care of spiders because spiders don't typically bother me. I've held a tarantula before.
Mm-hmm.
Derek and I went to the insectarium and we looked at the spiders there, of which there were many, and they were named after Star Trek characters, which of course only enamored them further to me.
That's pretty great.
Beverly Crusher was looking so nice in her little log. See, look, they're huge. They're massive.
Yeah, so listeners, you can't obviously see this, but producer Derek is sharing many photos of the giant house spider with us in Discord while we talk. One of them is on a dollar bill and next to is it a bay leaf? But it's a big mama right there.
Yeah, a 4-inch
leg
across.
span.
That's a big spider. That's a big spider. That's all I'm saying. And I tell my son all the time, if it's inside the house, we have to take care of it, whatever that means. But if it's outside, that's where spiders are. That's where spiders be. Mm-hmm. You have to leave them alone.
That's the spider's
Of course,
house.
He likes the spiders, so he's not messing with them.
He doesn't touch them or anything.
No. He doesn't want to touch them. He just wants to talk to them. Sometimes he talks to them in spider web language, which is web. That's what he says to them.
Your son is an interesting boy. He's adorable. I love his love of spiders.
I don't think he had any chance of being normal with me for a mom. But then when you add in that we've been inside for 2 years, he's just a little freak, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm glad that he has a healthy love and respect for spiders.
I would say his baseline operation is like an episode of Magic School Bus, where you just don't know how it's going to go. Sometimes they get baked into a pie, and it's fine, and it's chill. Other times they turn into baby salmon, and they get fertilized by a male salmon, and you're like, how did this go off the rails? How did producers let this happen? And I'm the producer, so how did I let this happen? I will say Magic School Bus starts off so normal. Like, they just go on field trips in season 1. They're going to the museum about sound, a normal thing for children to do. But by season 5, they're turning into creatures with human faces, and it's horrible. You don't want it.
That sounds a little like some nightmare fuel.
Oh, it's bad. You don't know fear until you've seen a fish with a child's face and really thought about what that would look like in real life.
And this is why I have cats.
Fair. The cats might also want to go on a Magic School Bus trip.
They might. So the giant house spider you've got over there is also very fast.
Very fast. And I think that's the scariest part of the spider. My husband doesn't like the spindly legs. He says that's what gives him the heebie-jeebies, is how different they are from other animals. Their spindly legs.
Usually it's people don't like the too many legs.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably an element as well. He doesn't like anything with legs. Anything.
Are you okay?
No, I have to hide my legs when we're together. But for me, it's the speed. I feel like they're very fast. I know that in proportionally, they might not be as fast as I think they are, but something about their scuttly little legs.
Well,
they're scuttling at me.
The house spider you guys have, they can move almost 2 feet per second.
See, that's fast. I'm usually I'm not more than like 5 feet from them when I discover them. So they can get to me in 3 seconds.
They could. But again, you got to remember they don't want. We're scary. Look at how big we are.
Yeah, that's true.
We could eat them.
Big.
We didn't. Not you specifically, Amanda. We're all big.
I meant compared to a spider. Thank you.
We're all large compared to spiders, and they're afraid of us.
Right.
They're scared. So I think we got to remember that they have a fear response when they see us, even though Cody has a fear response when he sees them. So it's fair.
He definitely has a fear response. So I mean, is Spider-Man swinging around New York City just terrified out of his mind all the time? Look how big that building is. Look how big that building is.
Well, I actually, when I think about Spider-Man, and we talk about this in our talk, how overwhelming it must be for a human to have all of the senses of a spider.
Yeah,
because our brains are a lot more complex. So spiders, we'll talk about I guess their limbs. So a spider has a bunch of hair on its arms. They're called setae, and these detect vibration, they detect wind movement, they detect humidity, and then they have tympanal membranes, which you can think of as like eardrums on their legs, and that detects sound and vibration as well. So they're getting all this input. Plus they have eyes, so they can see, and they have two different types of eyes. Well, it's either 6 or 8 is the spider eye amount. Or 0. Some cave spiders have no eyes, which is horrifying to look at. Everyone Google, when you have the time, an eyeless spider. It's uncomfortable. Look at him cleaning his little leg. He's taking a bath.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a spider taking a bath right there. They take their legs and they put it into their mouths and they pull it through almost like dental floss. And it's just to clean anything off of the leg. Spiders insects in general are very clean because they need to receive
all
all
cockroaches too, that like people talk about how gross a cockroach is, but really they're a very clean little bug. They just show up in unclean places.
Exactly. They got to keep clean so they can get all that sensory input. But so they have lens eyes that can see images, not like ours, but you can kind of think about it like that. And then they have another set of eyes, and they just detect light. So if you move shadow over their head, they can tell something's above them. So they're getting a lot of input all at once. I personally don't want all that input.
It would be very overwhelming. You've taken a perfectly good boy and you've given him anxiety is what you've done.
Yes. Oh no, I already have that. Maybe.
Oh no, don't get spider powers then, because you'll have a lot more to be anxious about.
They're also getting chemical sense. We can think about that like smelling. It's not quite the same, but they're receiving chemical signals, and a lot of that happens around their mouths. But Peter,
is it more similar to like how a snake smells, quote unquote, the air?
Yeah, I would say that's it's hard to think about things as a human and compare it to what also a vastly different animal than us, right? We're mammals, so we're
right, and I think we
can think about a deer,
hard to like,
but we can't think about a spider.
Other what is it, placental mammals, I think is what
placental
they say.
Mammals.
Other placental mammals are easier to understand.
But imagine Peter getting all this sensory input all the time, and he's not born with it, right?
Oh yeah, so it's not something
he has to adjust.
Always experienced.
Yeah,
and I think that's where you get the spider sense, is trying to like condense that down. But in the comics, it's kind of displayed as a sixth sense, like a precognitive. Something's about to happen and my psychic ability is telling me about it, when in reality that's not how spiders do.
To my knowledge, spiders are not psychic.
They're not sitting in front of their crystal balls with legs swirling about it.
They're not
wearing a very tiny little rag on their head.
Like, no. Although now thinking about a psychic spider would be pretty funny. But I could actually, if that's what it feels like for Peter, it kind of makes sense, because you're getting this input. Our bodies aren't built to receive that input. Maybe this is a little too speculative for a comic book superhero, but it might feel like psychic intuition.
he's not actively paying attention to these senses, intuition. But it's giving him information anyway.
Exactly.
Right. So then that way, I think you can justify the spider sense a little bit more. This is just how Peter experiences it.
Yeah.
Less that he has this innate psychic ability and more that he doesn't know how else to articulate what happens to him.
Exactly. It would be a lot.
The MCU that you see a moment where I think it's Tom Holland has his arm on the school bus and all of the hair on his arm stands up, which I think kind of implies that information from the hair on his arms that you were talking about.
That's a good comparison. Steady.
Yeah. And in these Raimi films, the hair is how he climbs on walls as well.
Yeah, that's how a spider works too. All that hair will be at the end of their limbs, and you can tell if a spider is a really good wall climber by how much hair they have, like in tufts, right at the base of their limbs.
Oh, so it should be significantly more than what we're seeing on the Raimi film.
Oh, Peter's heavy, so he would need. His hand would look like a Yeti's hand. He would be very
hard to
hairy.
Keep a secret identity when you're walking around with Yeti hands.
Exactly. Like if you take a look at a jumping spider, which are really good climbers, they'll have like real tufty hairs, Seti. Whereas a wolf spider, they don't climb very well at all. They don't have a lot of hair at all.
So how does that hair interact with the surface to climb it? Is it just hooking on, or is there like electricity or something? I don't know.
There's van der Waals forces. That's physics. It's kind of complicated. But really it's a surface area thing. The more surface area you have, the more you can cling to a surface.
Interesting.
It is kind of like hooking. It kind of hooks.
Because I know that in comic books, at least once, evil Peter has used his evil Peter hands to take skin off of people because he can cling to their skin and then take it off.
Wait, what is that in? That's in a comic?
Oh, I'll have to look up the exact comic.
I gotta read that. That sounds horrifying.
Oh yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And it's possible it happened to Silk too, but maybe I'm misremembering that. Hold on. Spider Man takes guy's face. Remember when Spider-Man tore someone's face off? That's the article I got.
Oh wow. Yeah, Derek put it in the Discord.
Is it Kraven the Hunter that he does it too? Oh no, it's Osborn. Okay, here we go. Yeah, takes his face.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. If you've ever felt so you've held plenty of bugs, I'm sure. Yeah. What's a good one to think about? Have you ever held a roach? Like a big roach?
I think I've held a roach.
And when they walk on your kind. Yeah, when they walk on your hand, it feels like they're sticking to you a little bit.
Just a smidgen. It's
the same thing with the spiders. And I'm assuming Spider-Man in this comic ripping off
Osborn's face.
Oh, here. Osborn's face.
I think it's Osborn. That's how they do Osborn's hair.
It's a weird hairstyle. It almost looks like cornrows.
There's a there's some discourse about Osborn's hair.
Oh, really? That's the thing?
Well, it was originally meant to be drawn as incredibly curly, is what they were going for, but that's not what they got when Ditko drew it up. It's a whole thing. Like, how do you show it without drawing a bunch of little swirlies?
Yeah.
And that's where they ended up.
Anyway.
So at least in the movie, we know that the Raimi version, he has the organic web. And I believe they gave him organic web in the comics after that movie came out, at least briefly. But usually he invents the webbing and it is part of his... he just knows how to make it now because he's a Spider-Man.
Of course.
An implied secondary power is that he knows how to make a web now. So the thing I always hear is that if Spider Silk was blown up in size, like to the size of a pencil, it could stop an airplane while it's moving. So how strong is Spider Silk really?
Spider Silk has an incredible tensile strength. Yeah. Actually, in the Raimi movie where Peter is using the to stop the train, he's using more silk than he would actually need to do that.
Right. Well, I assume he's the fallible.
The size. Yeah.
Also, in that equation.
I mean, I think we all know this, but spider silk comes from a spider's abdomen, not
not his wrists.
Yeah.
So it's a very different feel, though. If we go for scientific accuracy, as far as
real Spider-Man would be flying through the air by his butt.
I do think that would be very funny, though.
It would be kind of great.
It's not quite the iconic thwip if he's going more like hog wild first.
More like a poof poof coming out, you know. Oh, and that face.
Oh yeah, that
face
Tobey Maguire face.
Oh,
I will say that Toby gave good face. That he did really pushed, because there's one part where he's crying. I think when Harry's dying, and his face is he's going full hog. Like, how would I feel if my best friend was dying? And he lets it all play on his face, regardless of how attractive it will look on film.
He went full Peter.
He went full
Peter, which was just honest, 100% honest all the time, regardless of how it looks. Yeah, now I just keep looking at that face.
The thing we say a lot, and I know we're not the other ones to say this, is that Toby gave good Peter but wasn't the best Spider-Man, and Andrew gave good Spider-Man but wasn't the best Peter, and then Tom Holland's better than both of them.
Yeah, I would agree.
Which is why but that's the power of a Disney casting, I think. Disney really, find you. They'll grow you in a lab if they have to.
It makes me think of Batman. When I was younger, it was the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
And I loved Michael Keaton as Batman, but I didn't love him as much as Bruce Wayne. And then we got Val Kilmer, and I'm like, oh, Val Kilmer's a good Bruce Wayne, but not a great Batman. And then we got Clooney, and I was like, no. Hard no on Clooney all the way.
He's since apologized for that, if it helps.
I forgive you, George Clooney, if you're listening. Thanks, and I know you are. I forgive you.
I know you're out there, George. Listen, I know you love a bug, George.
So with Peter, so that would technically be called the webbing he was using looked like a triangle. So there are 9 different types of webs that spiders create.
Oh, I figured there was sticky and unsticky, but there's 9.
Sticky and unsticky. Sticky and unsticky are a part of all those.
They're just types. 2 of the 9 categories.
Yeah. So we have orbs, which is like the typical. You would picture an orb weaver, that classic spider web shape, fairly sticky all over. It's used for spiders who don't do a lot of who don't do any ground hunting. You've seen those beautiful golden orb weavers probably in your garden.
Yeah, that's the kind that Ted has a friend who's a orb weaver of some kind, because it lives on a triangle-shaped web on the corner of the barbecue.
She sounds adorable. And then there's the tangle web or cobwebs.
Oh, okay.
They look like a mess. They actually build them looking like a mess. They're not tattered. They're just supposed to be that way. They'll have long, sticky droplets hanging from each of those the attachment points. And that's for catching things.
Oh.
There's sheet. Have you ever seen I love this in the morning. If you're in a field, and maybe I've just been in a lot of fields because my work.
A lot of fields at dawn for you.
Yeah. As the sun's coming up and everything's covered in dew, and you'll see these thick sheets of webbing covering the grass. That's a completely separate type. Those are called sheet spiders. They're really tiny, but they pick up all that beautiful morning dew. I'm waxing poetic about spider webs now, but I love them. They're also called doily spiders because it looks like a big doily on the ground.
Come on, a bunch of little grandmas out there making their doily spider webs. Here I am. I gotta make my morning doily.
Sipping their tea, they're making their doilies.
we need the morning dew for our tea. Ooh.
And then there's that triangle shape. The triangle shape is 3 long guidelines, and then connected in between with the catching part of the web, the sticky part. Those tend to be kind of fuzzy. Peter, to me that's what the kind looks like that Peter's making on the.
Yeah, his are kind of cable-y. A lot of times they draw them with a single strand, and then there's other strands that seem to be wrapped around it.
Right. Then there's a funnel. I didn't mention funnel yet. So the funnel webs is not sticky. because the spider lives inside the funnel web. So not all silk is the same. And she'll build, I'm sure have you ever seen these before in leaves? Sometimes they wrap leaves around them.
Yes.
And the spider will hang out inside that funnel. You can picture it like an overturned parking cone for like a car cone.
Oh.
And she's in the bottom, and that wide point comes out and allows her to feel when insects are moving past the funnel. And it works a little bit like a trap, kind of like a trap door.
She's coming.
She's coming. And you can get some really advanced work like that with trapdoor spiders who put like a little
I've heard the trapdoor spider with the little manhole cover.
They're really cool. They're neat looking. There's mesh, which just looks like it's like cobwebs, but they're outside. They're for spiders who they're kind of messy looking,
non-domesticated spiders.
Yeah, they're free and wild, and they're making these messy webs. And then there's 3 specialized webs. I'll just say it, Derek, and if you want to cut it out, you can. So males create a specific type of web to move sperm from their genitals to their front palps, because when spiders mate, the male has to daintily and quickly touch the female with the sperm on his front palp or his limb, and then get the heck out of there because she's gonna eat him.
She's gonna eat him.
So there's no like, I know when we think of animal mating, you think of it as it's a process. With spiders, it's like get in, do a quick tap, get out of there, so you're not eaten. And this is a very specific type of silk they use to create this packet.
Are you telling me that literally spiders will tap that and then leave?
They'll tap it and get out.
Tap it and go. There's no romance in the spider world.
A lot of them. Certain types, some fishing spiders, the male will actually do that and then not leave and sacrifice himself to be protein for egg production.
Oh, that's a good father right there.
If you want a good dad. And then there's two more specialty types. There's a molt mat, which is just for tarantulas. They make a real thick mat. So tarantulas flip over on their back when they molt.
Oh, interesting.
And they make this soft mat, so it's a little bit more comfortable for them to do this.
Make themselves a little mattress first.
They make a little mattress. And then egg sac. So females produce egg sac, and that's a particular type of silk. They wrap their eggs in it. Wolf spiders carry that sac, or I'm sure you've seen plenty of female spiders in webs with a sac too. It just kind of hangs out. So there's 9 types of specific webs for spiders.
So what I'm hearing is there's sticky and not sticky.
Exactly. Thank you.
So you got the eggies, you've got strong ones for making your webs, you got sticky ones for catching guys, you've got messy ones, you've got clean ones, you've got
doilies.
Doilies, of course. You've got big kids, little kids, kids who climb on rocks. You got them all.
It's amazing, right?
And is one web and one silk, or is it they're all silk? They're all web.
Web is the form it takes. Silk is what the spider produces.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Well, how many web types does Peter have?
So I think Peter, for the ones you really see him use are the strong cable ones, I think, where he's swinging around town. And then he will sometimes shoot like full webs. He doesn't sit there and build a web. He just kind of shoots it and it is a web and it hits a guy. I'd say that's probably, I mean, it depends on who's drawing it, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a web and other times it's just that cobwebby, just like here's a mass of sticky stuff and you're stuck to the wall now.
Well, we do have the bullous spider, which is a type of orb weaver, and it makes like a little, kind of like a lasso.
Oh yeah.
And it can throw this. It's usually, they do it they primarily prey on moths because they create a pheromone that attracts particular species of moth. The bullous spider is kind of crazy, but they kind of throw this little bolus out, and it's sticky on the end and it grabs whatever insect they're going for.
Yeah, Peter does that a lot. He doesn't put a bola on the end. Yeah, here I go. He does more he just webs you and then he pulls you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's the spitting spider too, and it does what it says. It basically spits.
It just spits web at you.
They're pretty cool looking. There's some videos online of that too. If the listeners want to take a Google search for a spitting spider, it's kind of fun to watch.
And I believe canonically Peter's webs disappear after like 4 hours. They start to break down. Otherwise, the whole city would be covered in webs after like a couple of days. But like, I think his just like biodegrade. Is that true of webs? Yeah. They'll just disintegrate because they're just protein. I assume.
dainty. Yeah, eventually a web will break down. But you've seen, I mean, if you've ever seen a web, it kind of takes a while.
Yeah.
You'll see plenty of ripped up webs on a hike, and they're still kind of dangling. But eventually, yeah, they'll degrade.
Right. Because Peter has to have his degrade otherwise. But I always wonder, like, what happens if longer than 4 hours pass and the cops haven't come to get your criminal yet? They just get to leave, I guess. Bye.
Probably, yeah. If only it were that simple for the insects in a spider's web.
No. Well, as long as I can last 4 hours, the spider won't get me. And the Miles Morales game I just played, one of the sneak attacks you can do is you get up in a high place and you web a guy and then you pull him up and you wrap him up so he's kind of mummified.
Oh, that's cute.
So
yeah, there's great videos too of spiders wrapping up a fly or whatever lands in their web, and they're very fast. Very
they're
fast.
Just it's gone. And I've heard differing accounts on whether they suck out the blood or they wait for it to liquefy.
They wait for liquefaction to happen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it takes a couple days before they're allowed to eat that bug.
Liquefaction can happen pretty fast.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. And it's not just blood. They're liquefying the whole inside of that insect.
Bugs love to liquefy. Caterpillars, victims of spider death, they're liquefied.
So not all spiders have venom, but some are a little more venom dependent than others. Like a wolf spider, if it catches a prey, it'll inject venom, but it'll start eating immediately. Like its mandibles can handle that. So it's not always waiting. Smaller spiders kind of have to wait for liquefaction.
I would say that is the big power that Peter is missing, is any sort of venomous or
liquefying
otherwise
property.
Venom. Yeah, liquefying powers. Okay, Rhino, you've been a bad boy. Time to get the liquefied.
He's also missing those crazy chelicerae, which are the mouth parts of the spider. Can you picture Peter with his crazy... Ugh.
Well, several times over the course of Peter, he has become a spider man, where the DNA inside him manifests more powerfully and he becomes a half spider? Man, half spider. Yeah. At one point he fully turned into a spider. Like he just was a spider now. And he was huge. And I think that's how they gave him his organic web, is he like cocoons himself and he comes back out and he's Peter again. He's like, I have new spider powers. Oh yeah, here producer Derek has kindly shared a Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's told me about it before, and I need to find the issue because I'd love to read.
It's happened several times.
Peter as a big spider. Yeah, it's happened several times.
Several times. It's one of those things that comes up every now and then. It's like, remember that time you became a Spider-Man? Because I know it happens in the cartoon.
Drawing is interesting.
Yeah. Let me see. You could probably find a collection of all the times he's become a Spider-Man.
His head is far too mobile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spiders have cephalothorax, so the thorax and the head portion are fused together.
Yeah, because that's the big difference between them and an insect, right? From at least to my eye, when I'm looking at a spider, is that they are 2 parts plus legs.
Yeah,
whereas like an ant is 3. Yeah.
I mean, and the 8 legs.
And the 8 legs versus 6.
Yeah, they're kind of neat.
It's a Spider Island event.
Spider Island. Yeah, I'll have to check. I gotta check that. I gotta write it down. I have so many notes in here. I have like Bollywood notes from you guys and comic books I gotta read.
And all these things you gotta check out because of us. Yeah, that's what true friendship is.
Big list of notes here in the podcast area in my house.
So Peter lacks venom. We're not gonna talk too much about Miles or Jessica today, or Gwen or any of them.
Yeah, but that is one thing. They could all be their own episode.
Yeah, they could. Honestly, they all could. But that is one thing that they've kind of course corrected on, like the spider powers they missed out on with Peter, they put on other spider heroes. And I'd say the venom is what Miles and Jessica have that Peter doesn't. And the pheromones obviously being a big one that Jessica has that Peter doesn't really at all. If Peter had pheromones to make people like him, his life would be a lot easier, frankly.
Peter's also a male, so he wouldn't be getting those.
Oh, that's true. I hadn't
attraction
that.
Pheromones. It would be the female.
He can't roll up to J. Jonah Jameson's office and be like, "You like me now."
It makes sense for Gwen, but not for Miles.
Yeah. Oh well, he tried, Peter. So I think the best for me, I love heroes, one of my favorite things to do is look at their implied secondary powers, being a power that's not explicitly stated but has to be there or their first power doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
The Flash has to be super durable because otherwise he would just run himself to pieces. That sort of stuff.
Have you been watching The Boys?
I've not watched The Boys because I have a 3-year-old at home. And he doesn't need to see what's going on at The Boys.
Oh, it's so good.
I more or less stay up to date with what's happening through my various comic and hero affiliated blogs and whatever. But I do not personally watch. It's also a little dark for me. I don't like dark? Well, maybe
I mean, it
reveals too much about me. I have a limited amount of entertainment time, if that makes sense. And so when I'm entertaining myself, I want to feel good during it. So I will sometimes avoid media that I think will make me feel bad. And The Boys kind of falls under that category.
Under that.
Of like, oh, this makes me feel bad about like how things are going. So I
like to watch an episode of The Boys and then an episode of Peacemaker to kind of balance it out a little bit. But it just what you said about the secondary powers kind of reminded me of an episode of The Boys. So sorry.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
So, yeah. Well, implied secondary powers. Peter has several implied secondary powers. One of which being that he knows how to super weave. Because otherwise, how does a normal 15-year-old boy suddenly know how to make a full spider suit that suits his needs and is so well designed? I will give you till we're blue in the face that the Spider-Man design makes very little sense in reference to a spider. There's only, I think there's a couple of spiders that have red and blue elements. But as far as like a whole look, it's not a very evocative of a spider other than his spider symbol in the middle and the
his black suit is a little more appropriate.
Yeah, but I love the implied secondary power that Peter could weave you anything you want. Because he also uses his webs to weave stuff. And suddenly he's got a shield. He's got a boat made of web. He's got the Taj Mahal. Whatever it is, there is an implied secondary power there that Peter has like an amazing understanding of how to build things with thread. He could become a great visual artist if he wanted to.
He didn't want to be a scientist. Art is a role for Peter. What are other implied secondary powers for him?
Other implied secondary powers. I would say that he has an implied secondary power of being cannibalistic, but the only thing he cannibalizes is his relationships with other people.
Well, that's very specific and it hurts. For Peter.
I don't know where the implied secondary power falls as far as Peter loves to quit being Spider-Man, but he just can't stay away. He has to be Spider-Man, but no one quits being a superhero more than Peter does. He is constantly trying to get away from it. And I think part of that is because he was kind of guilted into it from the very beginning. There's times where he chooses to be Spider-Man, and there's times when he feels he has to be Spider-Man, and he always ends up quitting and standing at someone's grave looking sad in the rain. Every time.
Always in the rain.
Always. Oh, come on. It's gotta be.
The minute you step foot on a cemetery, it rains. That's how it works.
Yeah. They you don't see it, but they've set up tiny sprinklers all around the cemetery to get the full effect.
So Amanda, I have a question for you then. As an artist.
Okay, yes.
How would you draw Spider-Man? What do you think he should look like?
There's a few years ago, I think it was right after Far From Home came out, but maybe it was something else. I don't remember what triggered it. But because there's so many spider characters at this point, Spider-Man being one of the ones that's really taken off, there's several spiders now. There was a Spider Sona challenge going around. Babs Tarr did one, all across Instagram was all these, if I was a Spider-Man, this is what my costume would be like.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you're ever looking for inspiration about what Spider-Man should look like, it's very easy to find people who have way better ideas about interesting costume design. And I think there's about to be a spider event, or maybe it's already started now, depending on when this podcast comes out, where all these other people with spider powers, avant-garde spider costumes, practical spider costumes. If I was Peter Parker and I had just gotten spider powers, I wouldn't go with red and blue because I feel like that's putting a target on me of like, shoot here, guys.
It's very
Although,
bright.
like we talked about with the spider web, it's very tough. If he's made the suit out of the webbing, which he typically doesn't, but if he had, he'd have Kevlar strength suit on because it's so tough. So maybe it wouldn't be so bad to have them shoot at him. But I think the big things he's got to do is he's got to protect his joints. So I feel like he should have more protection on like his elbows and knees. But maybe that's just my like soccer mom need to protect little baby boys.
Protect that little
I don't
Peter.
know. I think the double arms on the Iron Spider suit in the MCU is a really great addition to his suit.
I love that suit. It's very cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it really allows him to do some extra spidery things that he typically doesn't do. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, there's a reason. It's hard to separate myself from that iconic look because it's just so iconic. Even if it's
what color would you go? If you
really think about it, it's a hideous suit, but it's so iconic and it's so clean. It's a nice suit. I'd say if of the spider suits, I think Miles has the most accurate one. His is black with some red details on the ends of the limbs and just his big spider in the middle. I'd say he has the best I look like a spider suit.
You could go full peacock spider and make a rainbow.
You could go full peacock spider.
Very brightly colored.
He's twerking all over town. Yeah. He's like, the villain's over here. Getting low.
I really want that to be a Spider-Man, is Peacock Spider-Man. Twerking all over town. Showing up at bars.
Working my way downtown. Twerking fast. Yeah. I'd say, yeah, I mean, I guess if you incorporate peacock spiders into Peter's dress sense, it makes a lot more sense that he ended up red and blue with black details.
Well, how many legs, I guess, would you give Spider-Man in
honestly
comparison to real spiders?
This is going to be my first high rating, I think, of all our episodes. I give him 8 out of 8 legs. I think he does a great job on being. I think he's kind of the premise of the whole idea. He sources that I got bit by a radioactive animal, and now I have that animal's powers. Whereas other superheroes that are animal based kind of they imply an animal, but they're not necessarily have the powers of that animal unless they are explicitly like an animal totem person,
shaped like an animal, right?
Unless they're shaped like a Beast Boy turns into an animal, so he has animal powers. Vixen takes on the powers of an animal, so she is like literally embodying an animal. Whereas,
or like the lizard, there's like a lizard man.
He's a lizard man, yes.
Yeah, he's an actual lizard man. Yeah,
he's a lizard man.
I think Peter really does do a good job of embodying an actual spider.
I think he hits most of the points of being a spider.
Yeah. I'd give him a 7 out of 8 spider legs. Yeah. He'd get 8 if that web came right out of his butt. Then he'd be hard.
That really pushes him over the edge. I think if you gave him some pointy teeth, that'd be an interesting addition to Peter. Is if in a real desperate bind he just bites you.
Yeah, that would be very funny. And the 2 bites. The first bite is a dry bite because spiders don't want to deliver venom unless they have to.
Unless he has to.
Bite venom.
I'm into this idea that Peter's last resort in any fight is he just bites you. And you're like, are you serious, man? He just bit me? And he's like, sorry, man. I had no choice.
I ran out of ideas.
I was out. Bugs Need Heroes is created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. All character art by Amanda Niday. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out on bugsneedheroes.com for the visual companion to our episodes with the artwork of the bug-related heroes. We also have an Instagram, Twitter, and subreddit under the Bugs Need Heroes name. Thanks for coming by. Look at him go! It's like a little spider cartwheel.